find out tomorrow morning.
That is Stifel, Director of Investments, Eric Robert. Thank you. That's the Wall Street Wrap.
More and more clouds take over this evening and overnight. It's a little breezy, but temperatures will stay relatively mild, only going down to 50. Then on Thursday, clouds, periods of showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, mainly in the morning. Turns windy from the northwest in the afternoon, so dropping temperatures. 55 for the high. That's in the morning, 45 by sunset. Thursday night, partly cloudy, windy and cold, 21, and Friday, sunny and cold, 38. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Clear sky right now, 49 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
And this update is sponsored by Penn Mutual Life Insurance. Good news, all lanes back up and northbound on Highway 55, headed through the work zone at Highway 67. We did have delays earlier, backed up towards Highway 61. So that's the good news. A little bit of relief there for drivers headed northbound on Highway 55. No relief for drivers headed out of the city. Westbound on Highway 64, you're on the brakes now. West of the Vanderventer area, headed out to McCausland. Eastbound Highway 64 drivers, you're on the brakes at Compton. Headed up to the Poplar Street Bridge, it's road work on the Poplar, blocking the two left lanes for the rest of the week. That has you slowing eastbound on Highway 44 from Compton as well, and busy northbound on Highway 55, ramping onto the Poplar. Eastbound on the Musial Veterans Bridge, heavy as well, avoiding the traffic on the Poplar. Southbound on Highway 170, stop and go in pockets between Olive and 64. Just busy southbound on 270 between Olive and Doherty Ferry. Out west, not bad, just a pocket of volume westbound 64 approaching Lake St. Louis. At Penn Mutual, we believe that life insurance is the central part of a sound financial plan and that it can make an enduring impact for generations to come. Talk to your independent advisor or go to PennMutual.com/STL. Penn Mutual, trusted for life. I'm Frank Ladd in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
News, traffic, and the latest from the world of sports. This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, good to be with you guys. Welcome into Rush Hour Sports here on a Wednesday night. Matt, Pauley, Kevin Wheeler hanging out with you here till 6 o'clock. And we get some Billikens later on. So you got a short show tonight, huh? After this, I mean.
do. This week, yesterday's Sports Open Line was our only full 2-hour Sports Open Line all week long.
Although tomorrow's the countdown, so.
Tomorrow is Thursday Night Football.
Oh, the countdown's Friday this week.
The countdown show is being pushed back to Friday.
All right. Yeah. Very nice. So, yeah, you're getting a lot of extra. That's good. You earn it because in baseball season, you get the opposite.
The exact opposite.
Yeah, the baseball season is all long nights and no breaks, and then you get to the winter, it's like, look at that. Little football break, little basketball break. It's good.
Yeah.
Not that I lived it or anything, but I know very well what the difference between off-season and in-season.
You get a little respite here between the winter meetings and before spring training gets started.
Yeah, so we are now, I think, 99 days until opening day.
Let's go.
Which is kind of nice to think about, right? Less than 100 days to opening day, which means we are what now? Well, put it this way. As of today, we are less than 2 months from spring training, from pitchers and catchers.
Isn't that it moves so stinking fast, Kevin, and you know this.
But only in retrospect.
Baseball lifestyle. Yeah, but I mean, yes, because we're going to get there where I'm going to be sitting in Jupiter, and it's going to be like, man, it was just the end of the season. It was just the Heim Bloom press conference. It was just this. It was just that. So, no, it moves fast. Every year seemingly moves faster and faster, and maybe that's just the case of getting old and having kids and all that sort of stuff. But, man, it feels like life moves faster every year.
Yeah, except for while you're waiting for trades and free agency to happen, right? And then you're just kind of like, why is it so slow? And then when it's all said and done and you're looking back, you're like, man, that was fast.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that the Sonny Gray thing happened so quickly, and now the Dustin May thing has happened.
And it's now official, by the way, news today.
Right. It's still fairly early on in the offseason, so there's still things that are going to happen. I don't think the trade market has still completely fully developed. We're seeing a couple more things pop, but really not much. So Heim Bloom, there's no pressure on him right now to get those deals done. They're going to get done at some point in the near future.
Yeah, so Dustin May has been announced by the team. That's our news of the day. We do have reports on the money now. So $12 million the first year, a mutual option for $20 million. And, we both know the mutual options don't generally mean anything.
I can't think of a mutual option that's ever been picked up.
I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but it's rare. And it would have to be the ultimate in between for it to make sense for both sides, right? It would mean from May's perspective, he didn't do enough to earn a multi-year contract in free agency. So the $20 million in this case, because that's what that extra year is if both sides exercise it, where it's better for him to do that than go out there. But that would also mean from the team's perspective, he would have had to have been good enough, but not so great. Yeah. So it's a thing that you can construct a scenario, but the fact that you have to work really hard to figure out how it would happen means that it's not likely to happen. Most likely, he will either choose to go back into free agency for a multi-year deal if he pitches well, or the team will say, no, we don't want that because it was bad and we don't want to spend $20 million on that next year.
Yeah, if he pitches well enough that he's worth $20 million, that probably means he pitches well enough that he wants to go out and get a multi-year deal.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where the bigger thing is, you if you like what's going on, if the team and the player are happy with how it's going, they would simply, instead of talking about exercising that 1 year, they would talk about a multi-year deal.
And so I don't think this is the case on this contract because we haven't heard anything, but sometimes those mutual options include a buyout, and it doesn't matter which side says no. Like the player can decline the mutual option, and he still gets the $1 million from the team or whatever. That's the only time that you really see mutual options have any type of significance when there's a buyout involved. I have not seen anything like that when it comes to this deal.
And it doesn't mean it's not there. It just means it has been reported if it is there. So we'll just keep an eye on that. But I still say with the setup, that's still a little bit less than I thought you might have to pay in this first year, which tells us a couple things. One, it tells us that May really wants to be here, and not for any romantic reasons. I think probably just because it's a real clear opportunity to go start every day. And if you're getting to the point where you're being pulled from the rotation, well, things are going terribly anyway. So it's not like that's a big difference no matter where you go versus Dustin May signing with a contender, where if he's struggling with a team that's, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Red Sox, and he's struggling a month in, well, they may just can him right there and stick him in the bullpen. And I know he doesn't want that. He wants to work his way back as a starter.
Like this isn't a compliment, but I'll say it nonetheless. This is the best non-contending situation in Major League Baseball. If you've got the option to either go play for the Pittsburgh, going to take you out of the rotation, or go play for the St. Louis Cardinals, who aren't going to take you out of the rotation, you go to the St. Louis. You're going to get a few more fans. I know you're not going to get a whole lot more fans with where things are at. You've got some smart people. It's a first-class organization. You're going to get treated the right way. You never hear stories like you hear in other markets about the team skimping on a plane or skimping on clubhouse amenities and things like that. So it's disappointing in the sense that the Cardinals are not expected to contend at a high level this upcoming season. But if you are a player looking for a bounce-back year and looking for a true opportunity, it's hard to see a better spot than St. Louis for that type of scenario.
That's when we talked about this way back at the beginning of bringing him up, that the biggest draw for him for a place like St. Louis. And it's also a good pitcher's park.
Yeah.
Right? It's not.
That helps too.
Yeah. It's not like you can't hit at Busch Stadium, but it's definitely a pitcher's park. It plays pitcher friendly. So if you're looking at someone that wants to put up numbers, then that's probably a good idea. And with Dustin May, we know this, and this is something I want to point out because I think this is a discussion because I think it's part of our job in all of this as standards change, as teams go about things, is to make sure we point out what teams actually care about, right? So no team is going to evaluate Dustin May at the end of this year based on just his ERA.
Right.
They're going to be looking a lot more under the surface. What's the fielding independent number? What's the expected number? How's the quality of contact against him? What's his strikeout rate? What's his whiff rate? What's his chase rate? These are all things that are far more predictive of future performance. ERA tells you what happened just now, but it doesn't always tell you why, and it's not very predictive for the future.
No, and that's where not to go from a pitcher to a hitter, but that's where it gets so frustrating when you look at a player like Jordan Walker, whose underlying numbers have not produced the type of baseball number, because more often than not, the underlying numbers are going to produce a certain level of baseball card numbers. That hasn't happened with Jordan Walker. So when you look at Dustin May, it doesn't matter. I mean, it matters, but in the grand scheme of things for him and his future moving forward, it's not going to matter what his win-loss record is. It's not going to matter what his ERA. They're going to go look at all those other things. Now, if all those other things do indeed lead to the ERA, then that matters, but it doesn't matter because it's the ERA. It matters because of what led to the ERA.
Right. And I think that's something that's important to understand. Like, when you're looking at evaluations of players, the traditional things that we've all looked at are still part of the picture. We just have more information to add on to it, and we have learned over time what things add predictability and which things are just not useful in predicting future outcomes.
I think one of the most challenging things that baseball clubs have right now is discerning all the information and choosing what to present and what to act upon and what to just throw in the trash can. Because, Kevin, there is some of this data that's out here that is mostly worthless. That it's not going to tell you anything of real significance.
Well, a lot of it's context dependent.
Yeah, and you don't want to get bogged down in that data. So I think that's part of we've come really far from a data standpoint. I still think we're evolving a little bit in the discernment of what's real and what's useful and what's not.
So Lauren asks a question. Lauren's with us every day. Hi, Lauren. Thanks for jumping in. She said, so they're not looking at his ERA to determine whether he should stay or go. No, not really. I mean, again, it's not like it's nothing, but it's nothing on its own. And just to illustrate what we're talking about in a simple way, and I'm not trying to act like people don't know this. People know this, but I think there's a simple way of looking at it. The ERA or the batting average, they simply represent a result of what happened, but it doesn't explain why it happened. So as an example, Dustin May could go out in the first inning of a game and give up 6 hard-hit baseballs and not give up any runs. They could be foul balls. They could be caught. They could be right at the center fielder, right at the shortstop or whatever. Well, that doesn't mean he had a good inning. It means it was bad, but he got lucky. And for a hitter, you can hit a ball 100 miles an hour right at a left fielder, and you can hit a 13-mile-an-hour little nubber and get a single. And it's the how that goes into it as to what these teams are looking at, because you don't just say, well, he went 1 for 3. Well, all right, 1 for 3 is great, 333. But if that was a dribbler off the end of the bat that happened to go where nobody was standing, and the other 2 at-bats were strikeouts, he didn't have a single good at-bat the whole game.
And that's why when we see those little dribblers that are for base hits and people try to use that to justify a point, that I'll push back on that 100% of the time. Yeah,
I mean, again, there's luck involved, and you can measure for that to a degree, which is why a fielding independent, because that'll tell you how good your defense is. If you're pitching well and you got a bad defensive team, your actual ERA will be higher than what you deserve. And those are the things that teams are looking at. So Samuel pointed that out, so I'll just throw this up on the screen, that the fielding independent works too. But even that's not by itself everything you need to know. It's just another helpful piece.
But and to that point, though, also, if you've got a guy who can hit to all fields, well, then he's got a better chance of having that dribbler for a base hit because he's not going to be shaded towards a certain spot based off what comes off the bat. So it's not even something like that sometimes is not completely connected to luck. It's connected to the fact that you're being played a certain way. So I mean, we could really dig into a hole.
I make the counterpoint though. Sometimes those dead pull hitters get free hits because they accidentally hit one off the end of the bat and it rolls where nobody's standing.
That is also very true.
Which is the point, and that's why teams are not grading on just the result. They're grading on partially on the result and partially on how you got that result. And that's why they're looking at exit velos, or they're looking at pitch movement characteristics and all of those things, because when you add it all together, you get a more complete picture. And even the complete picture isn't perfectly predictable.
Yes.
There you go. We landed on it. All right. I want to talk about another thing that the Cardinals need. We've talked a lot, Matt, about how much they need pitching, upper level pitching, hard throwers, swing and miss, things like that. And they've been accumulating that. There's another thing that they're going to need more of moving forward. We'll talk about that next here on KMOX.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertisement.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
And we're sponsored by S&L Coins. A pair of accidents on Highway 44 this afternoon. The first one is westbound 44, just before Highway 270. It's got the 3 right lanes blocked there. Backed up to about Big Bend now, westbound on Highway 44. You're back on the brakes at about their Merrimack River Bridge, westbound on Highway 44, all the way out to 141. It's an accident block. It looks like the 2 left lanes now, right at 141 on westbound Highway 44. Slowing drivers down southbound on 141 as well, approaching Highway 44. That backup is to about Big Bend on southbound 141. Out of the city, westbound on Highway 64, you're stop and go in that stretch between Vandeventer and McCausland and Pockets, and still delays into the Metro East, eastbound on Highway 5564, 55 northbound headed up toward the Poplar, eastbound 64 approaching the Poplar as well, and eastbound Highway 44, all due to road work on the Poplar Street Bridge, blocking those 2 left lanes. I'm Frank Lett in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
S&L Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call S&L. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. S&L Coin.
This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, Rush Hour Sports on KMOX. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here till 6. Matt will then take you up until 6:45, and then we got Billikens basketball coming your way here on your home for the Billikens, KMOX. All right, Matt, we had a a viewer, I guess, on Facebook, listener/viewer, joining us on the stream, who are maybe trying to anticipate the next topic that I was going to bring up. So I said I wanted to talk about another thing the Cardinals need more of, aside from the top-end pitching depth near the majors or just top-end talent, swing and miss, velocity, things like that. I think it's Al. We'll just go with I think
Phil.
No, there's no letter there. It's P-A-L Barber. We're just
At the end of his thing.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry.
It.
I got you. I see you, Phil. I see you. He said, I understand the rebuild, jam the system with good young pitchers. And then he said, we need a vet or two to bring some crowd to the games. That's not why you sign players. Not when you're rebuilding. And you don't sign players for that when you're good. You just get good, and then that's what people want to see. I don't think they're going to do anything to sell, like specifically with the target to sell tickets, right? Because who could you sign?
No, that's so. I think there's 2 things here. There's nobody that you're going to sign that's going to bring people in. How you play is going to do that. And the thing that's going to bring people in is the chance to see Mason win, and when Liam Doyle gets called up, and maybe Quinn Matthews is going to be there. That's the thing that's going to bring people in. But I do agree with Phil that there is still a spot for veterans on this team.
Yes.
And I still think that's going to happen. I've long said that I think what's going to happen is they're going to trade guys away, and it's not going to be about replacing them with 4A guys or pushing guys up too soon. There's going to be some legit big league dudes who come in to kind of, in a stopgap measure. So I think there's 2 things going on here. You're not bringing in guys just to fill up the ballpark because that's not going to happen. But you also do need some veterans on the team at the same time.
Yes. And by the way, if I'm misunderstanding the point that Phil's making, and he means eventually, then I agree. Eventually, you're going to need some more of those star caliber players. I mean, whether they're homegrown or not, eventually you will need those players that are draws. Like that's a fair thing, and hopefully you develop them. All right. So the thing that I had in mind was not that, Matt. And you and I, this is something we've briefly touched on, but it's really, it's more secondary compared to, what we've talked about with pitching, accumulating all the big arms, drafting the big arms and all that. This team is still a team that's really in need of power.
Yeah.
Like real home run power. I think Weatherholt's going to hit for power, but I don't think he's a power hitter, right? I think he's going to hit 20, 25 homers. To me, he hits well enough that he's going to make enough good contact for that to happen almost accidentally. Rainiel Rodriguez has real power, but he's 18. Now Joshua Baez has real power, and he's closer. But that's the only guy in the system who's older than a teenager who profiles as a power-first guy. And yes, you have Nolan Gorman, who has hit 27 home runs in the major leagues. I'm talking about beyond what you have on the major league roster. And I'm talking about what you're trying to acquire in trades. So yes, there's power potential in Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman. It hasn't shown up in games, but I'm not really talking about the guys currently on the major league team. I'm talking about what we've done with pitching, which is adding more of those types to your system to go along with these guys.
Yeah, power has been our key word, both from a pitching standpoint and from a hitting standpoint. And to your point, yes, what they did in the draft, what they've already identified, and bringing back in power pitchers who can get swing and miss. That is a very important part of what's going on. They don't. They just do not have much power from a hitting standpoint. And it's on the major league roster, but it's also throughout the minor league system as well. Kev, I know this isn't where you were going with this, but what would be like the over-under right now on the whoever it is, the number of home runs they hit this year? Probably right now you would think Ivan Herrera would lead the team in home runs if he plays the full season, and he's probably a hair over 20. I mean, when 20 home runs is your top spot, that's not enough home runs, and that's basically what they were last year. They have to find more guys that they can call up, and they have to find more guys that can hit home runs because that's how you win games.
Yeah, I've got Herrera way more than that. I mean, he had 19 last year, and he missed 50 games. I mean, I think he's 25 pretty easy as long as he doesn't get hurt, but we have that question of whether or not he's going to stay in the lineup because he was in and out of the lineup last year. But really, other than him, the only guy that I would put anything on, like if you give Nolan Gorman 500 at bats, he'll hit 25 homers. The question is, will the rest of the production be good enough? Because the power will be there, but so will strikeouts and all that. And with him, it's not the question about power. It's the question about enough contact.
And that's where I think last year was the missed opportunity, because we would really like to have seen Nolan Gorman just be given an opportunity to be an everyday guy, just to see what it looks like. Now, admittedly, when he was an everyday guy late in the season, it did not look good for him, but there was also a point in the year where he was playing a lot, and he was arguably the top hitter for the team over about a 6-week period. So, that's... I believe that Nolan Gorman can put it together at some point, and if he does, he's probably a 30-plus home run guy. But there's just so many questions that go along
I agree.
with it.
There's no certainty there, and it's not just about this group. Like if you trade Wilson Contreras, you got a really big right-handed hole in your lineup, so you're going to have to fill that some way. We got a question here, Matt, that I can throw on there from Samuel. He said, "So Blaze Jordan is a suspect instead of prospect already." The fact that they didn't protect him from the Rule 5 draft and he didn't get taken in the Rule 5 draft kind of answers the question for you. And this is not a knock on Blaze. I've known of Blaze since he was 13 years old. He was like one of those kids that hit a bunch of home runs. He grew early. He was big, and he was hitting like 400-foot home runs with the really like hot metal bats, when he's 13, 14 years old. But he's got some legit skills. I mean, he hits the ball really hard. His exit velos are crazy. He doesn't strike out much. And I'm actually thinking, Matt, this might be a year to get some some opportunity for him, but he's kind of got the Jordan Walker problem in that he doesn't hit the ball in the air often enough. But I think there is power in there from Blaze Jordan, but he's also very limited defensively.
And he hasn't done anything since being a member of the Cardinals organization. In 41 games at Memphis last year, he hit 198 with a 608 OPS. His numbers were much, much better when he was playing for the Red Sox AAA team, where he had a 821 OPS. I mean, his OPS dropped by about 200 points going from Boston to St. Louis. So it's still a small sample size, but I think we do need to see a little something from Jordan, especially in spring training, to feel good about that.
No, and he's got to make some adjustments, but he definitely hits the ball hard.
He does.
And I would say that he's not a big prospect. I mean, there's a reason he's ranked as the 19th prospect in the system on MLB.com. Because he's not athletic, he's got one real strength, and right now he's not maximizing that strength. But it's there, and I just wonder if the new staff is going to be able to do stuff to pull that out of him as you move forward. Matt Pauley and Kevin Wheeler with you here on Rush Hour Sports. Hang tight. We got the news, and right after that, we're going to jump into a little more baseball. I can't decide yet whether it's Blues or football aside from that, but we'll figure it out. Maybe you guys figure it out by letting us know what you want on the stream. We got more coming up after the news on KMOX.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Schedule your free inspection today. Call 877-WINDOWS. That's 877-WINDOWS. Or head to rbastl.com.
At 5:30, this news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We've got 48, that feels like 43 downtown at the Arch. President Trump delivers an address to the nation tonight.
The speech from the diplomatic room at the White House is likely to be the last official presidential address to the nation of the year. Speaking to reporters while returning from a brief stop in Delaware, the president indicated he has a lot to say.
Well, I think the message this evening is we inherited a mess. And we've done a great job, and we continue to, and our country is going to be stronger than ever before.
The address comes as Trump confronts falling approval ratings amid concerns about the economy. The president continues to call affordability a Democrat hoax and blames the Biden administration. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
St. Louis Aldermanic President Megan Green is excited about the Gateway Arch Park Foundation's push to expand the national park across the river into Illinois. But is she concerned the expansion could mean less funding to improve things on the Missouri side of the Mississippi?
I would hope that it's an and, not an or. We obviously do better when we are connected together and when we're working collaboratively together. And I think for a long time, folks have wanted to look across the river and see more connectivity.
She's also excited about the potential of I-44, the former I-70 depressed lanes, getting capped or moved out of the way, saying it has hurt downtown by disconnecting the Arch and the river. The U.S. Postal Service says it intends to open its last-mile delivery network to large and small shippers, expanding beyond current arrangements with giants like Amazon and UPS. Last-mile delivery is the most expensive part of the shipping process. It's the final leg of delivery to millions of individual homes and businesses. The agency will award contracts in 2026 based on where it can provide same and next-day delivery service at a profit. The Illinois Republicans in Congress are urging President Trump to deny former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan's request for a pardon. Here's Mike Krauser.
The three Republicans, Mike Bost, Mary Miller, and Darren LaHood, wrote a letter to the president reading in part, a pardon would not only reward a lifetime of unethical behavior, but also embolden other public officials to exploit their offices for personal gain. It says Illinois families and taxpayers have suffered for decades under entrenched corruption, and a pardon in this case would send a dangerous message that public officials can betray the public trust with impunity.
A familiar face to St. Louis television news viewers remains in the running to claim a top reality show's top prize.
Savannah Louie used to work at KSDK Channel 5 as a news reporter and anchor. She's now made it to the final episode of the Survivor season, so good luck to her. But those wanting to watch the episode at its planned time tonight might be a little startled. That's because for the first time in Survivor history, the season finale is getting interrupted. CBS confirms President Donald Trump will deliver a live Oval Office address during the episode, pushing the big winner reveal a little later than planned. The episode will pause, air the address, then pick right back up where it left off. So yes, the $1 million moment is still coming, just with a presidential timeout in the middle. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, for tonight, more clouds, low 50. For tomorrow, some showers, maybe some thunder. Focus on the morning and the early afternoon. Temperatures start at 55, but drop to 45 by sunset. Right now, clear, 48 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
A KFC tale in the pursuit of flavor. The holidays were tricky for the Colonel. He loved people, but he also loved peace and quiet. So he cooked up KFC's $4.99 chicken pot pie. Warm, flaky, with savory sauce and vegetables. It's a tender chicken-filled excuse to get some time to yourself and step away from decking the halls, whatever that means. The Colonel lived so we could chicken. KFC's Chicken Pot Pie. The best $4.99 you'll spend this season.
Prices and participation may vary while supplies last. Taxes, tips, and fees extra.
Selling your home, it's one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. You could go it alone, trying to navigate market trends, determine fair pricing, and tackle tricky negotiations on your own. You could second-guess every decision, wondering if you're doing it right. Then there's the showings, the offers, and the mountain of paperwork. Or you could work with the expertise of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect as you make your next big move. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
All right, so I know that you've heard me talk about i3 broadband, and maybe you just have decided to deal with the hassle of changing your internet. Well, it's really not that much of a hassle. It's a very easy thing to be able to do. Let me say this. Every single time you're at home and all of a sudden your internet just drops for no reason. Every single time you're on your computer, your phone, and all of a sudden the internet starts lagging. Every time you go to pay your bill and you go, why am I spending this much money on internet? Let that be your reminder that you need to look into i3 broadband, because those things don't happen with i3 broadband. The pricing is incredible. They've got some of their best pricing of the year. You get a price lock guarantee. They lock you into a price. It's not like a thing where they give you a price and then all of a sudden a couple months later you open up your bill and it's like, what? It wasn't this much 2 months ago. No, they're gonna lock you into a price. It's also fiber into your home. That's another really key thing. If you hear fiber powered, that doesn't mean it's actually fiber internet. Actual fiber internet is what i3 broadband provides for you. See if they're available in your neighborhood. You can just head to their website, i3broadband.com/radio. That's the letter I, the number 3, broadband.com/radio, or just give them a call. If you've got questions, they've got answers. 877-976-0711.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. 2025 was a turning point for America. House Republicans didn't just talk about the challenges facing our country, we delivered real solutions. I was proud to stand beside President Trump to deliver historic tax cuts, secure our border, and eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse in the government. This year, my office helped constituents by solving over 500 cases and returning to them nearly $1.8 million. I'm Congressman Bob Onder, and I wish you a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
KMOX, celebrating 100 years. Presented by Purina, your pet, our passion. Now, a KMOX pioneer.
Before he became a national icon, Harry Carey electrified St. Louis baseball on KMOX. With boundless energy, raw emotion, and his signature Holy Cow, Carey brought Cardinals baseball to life for millions across the Midwest.
Slow ball swung on, a drive, back to left. Way back is Brock. He jumps. Holy cow! Did he make the catch or not? Yeah, he's got the ball. The game is over.
The power of KMOX's signal, paired with Harry's unforgettable personality, helped create one of the strongest team broadcaster bonds in sports.
This is Harry Carey with Jack Buck and Jerry Gross.
His bold, candid style made him one of America's most colorful broadcasters and a defining voice in the early era of KMOX sports. Harry Carey, a KMOX pioneer.
St. Louis City SC is teaming up again with Enterprise to salute the people who make our city shine bright. The Exceptional Neighbor program presented by Enterprise is back, and now you can help us find the class of 2026. Nominate your friend, coworker, or anyone who's going above and beyond for the STL region, and they could be featured on the pitch during halftime. Go to stlcitysc.com/exceptional neighbor now through January 9th and tell us who you think deserves to be an exceptional neighbor. Presented by Enterprise.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
Good morning. This is your Hardee's 2 for $5 breakfast mix and match alarm. We've got fluffy eggs and sausage on a made-from-scratch biscuit ready. Or perhaps biscuit and gravy. Ooh, maybe a sweet cinnamon roll. Wake up and smell that sweet deal. Mix and match any 2 for just $5 for a limited time. Only at Hardee's. Don't snooze on the app. Snag juicy deals, order ahead, and get to work on time. Maybe. Exclusive app offers for registered My Rewards members only. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
And this update is sponsored by Financial and Tax Strategies. Headed out of the city this evening, westbound on Highway 70. Looks like we had an earlier crash near Jennings Station. Got a slow stretch through there. Still dealing with volume out of the city westbound on Highway 64 as well, passing Forest Park. Southbound on Highway 55, make your way through that work zone. South of the River to Para, great run headed towards Highway 270. Eastbound 44, your stop and go from Compton up to the merge with Highway 55 northbound. That right lane is heavy, ramping onto the Poplar. Eastbound on Highway 64, all due to road work on the Poplar Street Bridge. It's stop and go back to Compton as well. Both directions of the depressed section are heavy north of the Arch. Headed southbound on 170, still seeing stop and go pockets south of Olive, mainly that left lane approaching Highway 64. Southbound on 270, a stop and go stretch between Page and Ladue. Reports of an accident there in the northbound lanes. That could be what's causing those delays headed southbound, not seeing it on a camera. And we're still dealing with that pair of accidents on 44. The first one is westbound Highway 44 before 270, only the left lane getting by there. That as you backed up to Big Bend, you're back on the brakes again at the Merrimack River Bridge, headed out to the accident at 141. The two left lanes are blocked there. Slowing down southbound on Highway 141 in a couple stretches. The first one approaches Carmen, and the second one approaches the Merrimack River and Highway 44. I'm Frank Led in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing your checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
This is Rush Hour Sports on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, Rush Hour Sports. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you on a Wednesday. Sports Open Line, a little bit of a Sports Open Line coming up here after the top of the hour. And then we've got Billikens pregame at 6:45, Billikens basketball just after 7 o'clock. So it'll be a busy night. Matt, I want to throw this at you guys. And you guys feel free to chime in if you'd like on the stream. This is kind of a sport-wide topic, baseball specifically, but it probably applies to the other sports as well. But I just in the off season, it fascinates me, Matt. One of the things I do on a regular basis, by regular basis I really mean daily basis, is check on things around the league. So I follow fan bases in every market. I follow baseball writers and broadcasters and rumors people like the established people in every baseball market, not just the national people, but the local people in all of the 30 markets, because I think that's how you gather a lot of good information. And in doing that over the years, and specifically here this year, I've come to the conclusion that most fan bases are delusional and crazy. I mean, we got Yankee fans out here losing their minds because they haven't done anything yet when the team just tied for the best record in the American League last year. Calm down. Calm down. We're a little bit over our skis with the over-the-top emotional reactions to things.
and in some ways they're not. I always give the example that there was a game this past year, I think it was against the Rays, where the Rays maybe played the single worst defensive game that I've ever seen, ever watching Major League Baseball. And I was really curious to see what the fan reaction was going to be to that. So I went to Twitter, and there was nothing. Nobody said a thing about it, where if that kind of performance would have happened in St. Louis, people would have been losing their ever-loving minds, and I would have had one of the longest post-game shows I've ever. But he should have been fired. So that's an example of how things are different. I always say that when I was working in Milwaukee, there were a lot of fans that would call into my post-game show and want Craig Counsell fired.
Did they have funny nicknames for him?
The Clownsel was the one that they loved going with. Craig Clownsel. So yes, that's what they did there. So that's an example of how every fan base can be the same. So yeah, I mean it's interesting. I do think that it's a good reminder to people that if there's something that you're unhappy about with your team, it's probably something that's going on just about everywhere in baseball. There's not a lot of things that are unique to a single team in Major League Baseball.
No, and in fact, before these last couple of World Series runs, the fire Dave Roberts movement in LA was strong. Like it was his fault. And it's just I know that this is something that it's a similar thing to what I learned years ago doing national radio when I was first in the business. Is because I had affiliates all over the country, and every city thinks their manager's an idiot. There are very few, unless your team just won the World Series, there are very few that think the managers are good. They always think they're screwing something up, which I guess is, it's part of the fun of what we do as fans, right? I mean, we watch every day, things stand out to us that we think look wrong, and we all end up falling into that same trap. But I just find it fascinating that even in places where things are going well, we have that dynamic. And, we look at Milwaukee and we see, man, look at these overachievers. They don't spend any money, but they're good every year. They make the playoffs all the time. And the fan base there is probably just mad because none of it's ever led to a World Series, and they're not happy with it at all.
So angry. They hate ownership. They feel like ownership doesn't spend money. I'm just thinking about what a special season that just was. You had the best record in the National League, go in as the number 1 seed, beat the Cubs in the playoffs, which really felt good for them. Like so many positive things about what happened. And if social media is any representation of that fan base, nobody is happy because
you just hit on the important part of this, because that's where this was going to go. And that is, first of all, this is certainly not about the Cardinals fans, because this is every fandom in baseball, but I think in most sports. If your team's not currently the best in the sport or the current reigning champion, people are somewhat upset about something. But this is where I would be curious from a lot of our listeners and the people that are with us on the stream. I think a lot of this is just the percentage of people that are on social media. I don't think it represents the rest of the fan base. I think the vast majority of most fan bases are pretty level-headed.
Probably.
We just don't hear from the level-headed people. We just don't. They're not on Twitter screeching at us. They're not. Right. They're not commenting on every story or whatever. And I think the vast majority of fans are pretty much normal. And then the people that are most active are the ones on social media, and they're the ones that probably go a little too far.
And like Twitter,
and I'm in that group, by the way. I'm in that interactive group on Twitter. I'm not excluding myself from it. I'm in that world.
Less than half of us in this country are on something like Twitter, so it literally is a minority.
20% of Americans. 20% of Americans.
So it's a minority of people, but man, it is a vocal minority for sure. I think so. I run into this, and you do too, Kevin, I'm sure, sometimes where we spend too much time reading the room off of social media to try to determine what the fan base is really thinking.
Yeah, and I think it's important for all of us to understand that. And Sammy says going too far. By going too far, Samuel, I just mean being angry all the time. Screeching about people's jobs, and this sucks when it doesn't suck, when it's just mediocre or when it's just not good enough, right? I mean, as you're talking about with the Brewers fans, if they're raging all the time, I mean, you're in the playoffs every year, man. What do you think Pittsburgh would think about being in that position? What do you think Cleveland would be in the position of a team that's never won the World Series? You know, I mean, there are a lot of teams and a lot of fan bases, and they're all suffering in different ways, and there is contention. But again, I think the bigger point that I wanted to bring home here was that I really don't think that vibe is describing the majority of the people that belong to each of these fan bases. It's the way the vibe is for the very most engaged and vocal people that happen to be, tweeting and posting on Facebook and all of that.
That being said, I think Cardinals fans made whether you were on Twitter or not, Cardinals fans made their voices heard very loudly by not showing
Empty
up
seats.
to the ballpark.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a louder statement than
Yes.
anything you can tweet out.
It's the number one way to make sure that you're heard.
Yep.
Don't go to the games. That's the way it is. But then, TV numbers were great, so that sends a different message, too. All right, really quick, we got one more segment to hit on. Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler with you here. Sports Open Line coming up after the news. We'll wrap up Rush Hour Sports next.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-568-2790. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-568-2790 or biglou.com.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, start with the good news. They cleared both the crashes westbound on Highway 44, the first one approaching Highway 270, as well as the one at 141. All lanes are back open there. So that's the good news. Still seeing delays approaching both of those scenes on westbound 44. A new crash eastbound on Highway 44 at Grand that has the right lane and right shoulder closed. East of there, it's busy headed towards Highway 55 now, ramping up towards Highway 64 and the Poplar Street Bridge. Eastbound on Highway 64, you're stopped to go through downtown from about Compton up to the Poplar, all due to roadwork on the Poplar Street Bridge. 2 left lanes are closed there. It's a stall westbound on Highway 70 that has you backed up from about Kings Highway out to Lucas and Hunt. It's over on the right shoulder, but we do have a stretch of heavy traffic through there westbound on Highway 70. There was an incident just west of the Blanchette Bridge westbound on Highway 70 as well. That has been cleared out of the way. Westbound 70 through St. Charles County, a great run. Major delays westbound on Highway 64 now between Highway 94 and Wentzville. I'm Frank Ladd on the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
This holiday, give the gift that lasts all season long. Cardinals ticket packs are on sale now, starting at 5, 6, and 10 games. All packs include 2026's top games and favorite giveaways. Backed by popular demand, choose from the opening day pack or the bobblehead pack. Check out the Cubs pack, weekend pack, or apparel pack. There's a pack for everyone. Find your perfect gift right now at cardinals.com/tickets.
You can feel the Clydesdales circling the field. Hear the stands come alive. Smell the hot dogs, the popcorn, and the cold beer in the air. See the crowd rise as the first pitch hits the glove. And just like that, a new season begins. This holiday season, give the gift that lets them feel it for themselves. Opening day at Busch Stadium. It's more than baseball. It's an STL tradition. Opening day tickets are on sale now at cardinals.com/tickets.
This is Ozzie Smith. I'll see you at Busch Stadium.
Life is better together. At Fairwinds River's Edge, dynamic activity calendars, excellent meal options, and an abundance of services come together to create a strong sense of community where meaningful connections are cultivated. Here, you can trust that there will always be something fun and social to do. It's not just a place to live, it's a place to belong. To see what's happening this month, visit us on Facebook or online, fairwindsriversedge.com.
Rush Hour Sports continues on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All right, we just got about a minute and a half left. I thought we could close, Matt, by getting into this one last comment. Aaron threw it out there on the stream, and I just want to be clear. So this is not picking on you, Aaron. I just don't think this is correct. He said if the vocal minority didn't complain, Mo would still be in charge. Two things. One, if Mo wanted to be in the president of baseball operations job today, he would be. And I'm not judging that good or bad, right or wrong. I'm saying that's the way it is. He wanted to retire, and that's when this process started. And also, the vocal minority's been yelling for 8-9 years. It took a long time. That's not why the change was made. The change was made because of results on the field and because the man in charge was also feeling like it was time to go.
You're probably right, Kevin. I do think that there was a realization, though, with the DeWitts, because they had, in the early years of their ownership, the focus was on such a draft and develop and create stars from your own system. And obviously, the team had gotten away from that, and they're trying to get back into it, and they're trying to invest resources in player development. And that was probably something that was going to be needed to be spearheaded by somebody else. So I would be, if we could go to an alternate universe, if Mo wanted to stay in his job and they had the results of what they've had the last few years, I'd be really curious to see how that would all play.
Well, and the truth of it is what you said earlier, and we'll close on this. It wasn't the vocal minority, it was the butts in seats that changed a lot of things. So it wasn't about yelling or tweeting, it was about who was showing up. That's the deal. Have a good show, buddy. It's a short one. Sports Open Line is coming up next, and of course, Billikens basketball right after that. Matt, we'll talk tomorrow, buddy. That's all right. That's gonna wrap it up for Rush Hour Sports and Sports Open Line coming up next.
How many of you think taxes will go up in the future? And if they do, who will get hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA for years, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Thursday, January 22nd or Tuesday the 27th. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Reserve your spot today by calling 8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents nor representatives may offer tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with their qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
Got any gadgets? Get online protection. NordVPN has a ho-ho holiday deal just for you. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro feature helps you avoid malware, phishing, and annoying trackers. Just a few taps and you're safer online. Let your gadgets sparkle with online security. Go to NordVPN.com and get up to 77% off plus 3 extra months. NordVPN.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This is Ron Kraszewski, Chairman and CEO of Stifel. As the year comes to a close, I want to thank our clients, colleagues, and communities for your trust and support. We're especially proud of the Stifel U.S. Ski Team. Their drive, resilience, and pursuit of their goals this winter reminds us what's possible when we stay committed. From all of us at Stifel, we wish you and your family a joyful holiday season and a new year filled with health, happiness, and success. Stifel, where success meets success.
The Dave Glover Show is excited to partner with Hardee's and Operation Food Search for their holiday food drive. Dave and the crew will be out at Hardee's in St. Peter's on Friday, December 19th, starting at 1 p.m. All donations benefit Operation Food Search to help children and families facing food insecurities. The Dave Glover Show, Hardee's and Operation Food Search, and the Holiday Food Drive. Get all the details about the campaign, or to make a donation online, head to KMOX.com/events.
See website for details. Bills Happen is not a lender and does not make credit decisions. Hey, bills happen! So when you need extra cash fast, go to billshappen.com. Have you been turned down? Are your credit cards maxed out? Do you have bad credit? Go to billshappen.com. You could find a lender and get up to $5,000 cash as early as tomorrow. Billshappen.com is safe, secure, and all online. Just remember, when you need cash, go to billshappen.com. Billshappen.com for the cash you need now. Billshappen.com.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple. To make better hearing affordable for everyone. This Christmas holiday, enjoy exclusive savings on our high-quality rechargeable hearing aids. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and shop Christmas holiday deals before they're gone at audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, at least the right shoulder and right lane are blocked. A few more emergency vehicles going up as well to this incident, eastbound Highway 44 at Grand. So that's what's causing the slowdown there. It's road construction causing the slowdown eastbound on Highway 64. That has you backed up to about 20th Street to the Poplar Street Bridge. I'm Frank Ladd in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
Nick Reiner in court briefly.
This was a continuance of arraignment.
Second person wanted for questioning in Brown University shooting.
We need to speak with them.
President Trump primetime address.
Our country is going to be stronger than ever before very soon.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Jennifer Kuiper. The cause of death has been revealed for Rob and Michelle Reiner. The Los Angeles Medical Examiner says it was multiple sharp force injuries and it was homicide. Earlier today,
Mr. Reiner, you have a constitutional and statutory right to a speech.
Nick Reiner made his first court appearance since being charged in the deaths of his parents, whose bodies were found in their home on Sunday. The 32-year-old did not enter a plea as he appeared in a suicide prevention smock.
This is a devastating tragedy that has befallen the Reiner family.
Outside court, defense attorney Alan Jackson said there are complex and serious issues associated with the case, but focused his comments on procedure.
Today, we're going to rest on where we stand procedurally, which is this was a continuance of arraignment.
CBS's Gwen Baumgartner reporting the continuance is set for January 7th. Just in, the U.S. government admits negligence in the military helicopter plane collision that killed 67 in Washington, D.C. last January. Investigators in Saturday's deadly Brown University shooting are looking for older video that might show the campus shooter days before the attack. Police have also released a picture of another person, Providence Police Chief Colonel Oscar Perez.
This person was in the vicinity where the subject of interest was that we wanted that we actually have an interest on. Close enough that we feel that we need to speak with them.
President Trump delivers an address to the nation tonight at 9 Eastern.
The speech from the diplomatic room at the White House is likely to be the last official presidential address to the nation of the year. Speaking to reporters while returning from a brief stop in Delaware, the president indicated he has a lot to say.
Well, I think the message this evening is we inherited a mess, and we've done a great job, and we continue to, and our country is going to be stronger than ever before.
The address comes as Trump confronts falling approval ratings amid concerns about the economy. The president continues to call affordability a Democrat hoax and blames the Biden administration. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
The president has participated in a dignified transfer at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware, honoring 2 members of the Iowa National Guard and an interpreter who were killed in Syria over the weekend.
That was a beautiful event for 3 great people.
The Pentagon says an ISIS gunman ambushed them. House Republicans passed the Lower Health Care Premiums for All Act, which does not extend the expiring Affordable Care Act subsidies, which Democrats want. It now heads to the Senate. Stocks fell on Wall Street. Now this.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Take the next step forward in your career with great benefits and an award-winning workplace. Apply at careers.progressive.com.
At 6:03, it's 47 degrees, but the feels like is 41 downtown at the Arch. Governor Mike Kehoe plans to concentrate on Missouri's public safety and economic development in the upcoming legislative session. The governor plans to follow passage of an anti-crime passage this past session with another one. The governor also tells Missouri Net he wants to see a proposal by St. Joseph State Representative Brenda Shields to expand child care funding in the state passed this time.
Well, Representative Shields has been a rock star in child care. And we've gotten a few pieces through last session, but there's some more work to do. We'll continue to push that very hard because it's a big piece of our workforce issue. We have a lot of parents staying at home that are qualified and want to work, but they can't because of lack of child care.
The Missouri House has passed Shields' child care package the past 2 years, but the Senate has not. The legislative session in Jeff City begins January 7th. Gateway Arch Park Foundation is looking to explore how capping or moving I-44 out of the way could impact downtown. Aldermanic President Megan Green says she's been in support of a change like this for some time.
When the highway was put in, it really cut up downtown and it disconnected the Arch from the rest of downtown.
Green is also optimistic about the park's push to expand east across the river and says she is not worried about funding for the park not going toward the St. Louis City part. Will Metro East roads and highways suffer to bail out Chicago public transit? Critics of the newly signed Chicago area transit law argue it violates the trust of voters who supported a Safe Roads constitutional amendment. House Minority Leader Tony McCombie says Chicago is raiding that money which was explicitly promised to voters for statewide road repairs.
This law permanently diverts more than $1 billion every year from the road fund, money that was constitutionally promised to fix roads and bridges, and sends it to prop up transit operations driven by years of mismanagement.
State Senator Erica Harris echoes those concerns, saying taxpayers were promised Rebuild Illinois dollars would fix bridges and water systems, not bail out Chicago. Lots of speculation that Pope Leo will tomorrow morning officially accept St. Louis native Cardinal Timothy Dolan's resignation now that he has passed the church's mandatory retirement age of 75 for bishops.
Last February, Cardinal Dolan submitted his retirement letter per church law when he turned 75 years old. At that time, he mused about his retirement plans on his Sirius XM radio show, saying he will continue to serve the church since he took a vow of obedience.
I find obedience liberating. So when people say, well, what are you going to do? Or is it? I said, I don't really know.
Yeah.
It ain't my decision.
Yeah.
You just say, Jesus, I trust in thee. And Holy Father, I trust in you.
Joliet, Illinois Bishop Ron Hicks is believed to be the Pope's choice to succeed Cardinal Dolan as New York Archbishop. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
St. Louis Board of Aldermen allocated an additional $350,000 to help the nonprofit Heat Up St. Louis continue the work, but the founder says it is not nearly enough.
Gentry Trotter, the founder of Heat Up St. Louis, is grateful for the additional funds St. Louis City has provided them, but says the need is far greater.
$2 million is the reality of trying to help people both citywide, which is this money, and both in terms of tornado and a separate pot of funds.
Heat Up St. Louis helps residents keep their power and heat on during the winter and air conditioners running during the summer. Trotter says a part of why they were hoping to receive more funds is they don't have admin fees, meaning all the money they receive goes towards the people they help, not their own expenses. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The Odyssey analyst on St. Louis City SC game broadcasts likes what he's heard about City's new head coach, Yohan DeMay. Dale Schilly says the former Columbus assistant knows what it takes to win in MLS play, and he thinks local fans will enjoy his team's style of play.
There's more of let's keep the ball and try to use the ball to create chances rather than just trying to get to the goal as quick as possible.
Schilly was a guest on KMOX's Chris and Amy show. And right now, as you're headed out, let's get you to Frank Ladd for the latest on the roads.
And this update is sponsored by Pine Valley Assisted Living. Still seeing delays approaching the accident scene eastbound on Highway 44 at Grand. The right two lanes are blocked there as well as the shoulder. Lots of emergency equipment on the scene there, so give them a little bit of room to work. Still seeing delays into the Metro East as well. It's eastbound on Highway 44 from about Jefferson, eastbound on Highway 64 from about east of Jefferson, headed towards the Poplar Street Bridge. You're busy northbound on Highway 55, ramping onto the Poplar. You lose the two left lanes on the Poplar for road work. That's eastbound 55-64. A pocket of volume remains westbound on Highway 70, headed out of the city from west of Shreve, headed out towards Lucas and Hunt. Just pocket of volume there. West of there, a great run passing 170. Had reports of an accident eastbound on Highway 64 near Big Bend, but I'm not seeing an accident on the camera. But you do have your normal pocket of volume eastbound on Highway 64 between McKnight and Big Bend, southbound 170. You're on the brakes, mainly that left lane between the Parkway and Highway 64. Thinning out southbound on Highway 270 this afternoon. Continue to thin out as well westbound on Highway 40. 144, approaching the earlier accident at 141. I'm Frank Ladd in the MichaelSFlooringoutlet.com Traffic Center.
Looking for a beautiful, all-inclusive place for your loved one? Happy holidays from Pine Valley Assisted Living. Secure a room between now and January 31st and take advantage of our move-in special. Enjoy affordable rates with absolutely no hidden fees. Experience the beautiful life at Pine Valley. Visit rspseniorliving.com today.
Pretty nice mid-December temperatures once again, and we're going to stay fairly mild for any evening plans, though clouds will be sweeping in. It's breezy. The overnight low only drops down to 50, but a cold front is on the way. On Thursday, clouds, showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. The focus for rain will be in the morning and early afternoon. Turns very windy from the northwest in the afternoon. 55 for the high. That's almost first thing in the morning. We should be down to about 45 by sunset on Thursday. Thursday night, partly cloudy, windy, and it's cold, 21 degrees. Friday, sunny and cold, 38. The weekend, Saturday, partly sunny, 56. Sunday, winter begins at 9:03 in the morning. Sunday's weather, partly sunny and cooler, 43. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
At the moment, a clear sky. Right now, 47 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Come on, let's get going now.
From KMOX Sports.
We're primed and ready. All day, baby. Man, let's go.
This is the Gray Bar Sports Open Live. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. On 104.1 FM, KMOX.
On a Wednesday night, we welcome you in. It is time for a Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. Don't have you for a full 2 hours tonight, as we are going to take you till just about 6:45. That's when we are scheduled to get coverage underway of Billikens basketball. Billikens are at home tonight as they match up against Bethune-Cookman. That's going to be a 7 o'clock tip-off. That means our coverage, Bob Ramsey and Oral Austin Jr., set to begin at 6:45. If you do want to chime in on the program, though, in our very short amount of time, you could do so by calling or texting 314-436-7900. Tweet at me, at Matt Pauley on air. And for those of you who are watching on our video stream, you can just leave a comment, and we will see that as we go along. Bernie Miklasz is going to join us in about 10 minutes or so. Got a few things to talk about with him. The news of the day, it finally becomes official. And there had been a fair amount of speculation, by myself included, maybe led by me, that it felt like the Cardinals were kind of slow playing this announcement and the official signing of Dustin May to see whether or not they could get some other deals done and find that spot on the 40-man roster without moving on from somebody. Well, that doesn't happen. They make the announcement today that Dustin May has been signed to a one-year contract. It is widely being reported that it's a $12.5 million contract. There is a mutual option for 2020. Mutual options are almost never picked up because there's just, if you're a player and you play to a certain level where you would want to get paid, well, you're not going to pick up the mutual option. If you're a team and they don't play to a certain level, you're not going to pick up the option. So mutual options rarely get picked up, but there is technically a $20 million mutual option in this deal. The 40-man move that was made to make this happen, outfitter Matt Koperniak being designated for assignment. We'll be interested in to see whether or not another team gives him a 40-man spot somewhere, if he has to accept a minor league deal. If he does accept a minor league deal, whether or not there's the opportunity for him to stay in the Cardinals organization. You kind of feel bad for Koperniak a little bit because it was not that long ago that it felt like he was kind of a I don't want to say rising star because he was still a relatively older guy, but you look back to the numbers that he put up in 2024 when he hit 309 with an 882 OPS and had a 20 home run season, did a lot of things at AAA that we hadn't seen him do before. And then even this past season, he went into spring training, and I can't tell you how many times I said, hey, if Matt Koperniak was not a left-handed bat, this guy would have a chance of making the club. And his spring training was, And then he went into He went into Memphis this past year, and he was unable to replicate his 2024 season as in 2025. He hit 246. His OPS was at 699, so almost a 200-point difference in OPS. And now at 28 years old, they make the decision that they are going to move on from him to create the 40-man roster spot for Dustin May. We've broken down all aspects of the Dustin May signing. Just because it's now official doesn't mean we need to go back over everything that we've previously said. But that being said, I think most of us here at KMOX that have talked about it are pretty happy with this. We'll talk with Bernie Miklasz in just a little while. But one of the things that Bernie brought up the other day, and I think it was a really good point by him, is the fact that yes, while the numbers for May did not look really special last year, you start to break down the numbers a bit more, and you see a guy who more often than not gave you a good start. And that's probably that's one way to look at somebody. How often they give you. Sometimes numbers get bogged down from a small amount of starts. That's kind of the way it happened with May, where more often than not he was going to give you a pretty good start. So look, there's still things that he has to do better. Kevin and I talked about this last hour. The sinker has to be better. It was not an overly effective pitch this past year. He automatically slots to. There's a chance he's your opening day starter. If he's not your opening day starter, he's probably your number 2 starter. He's a top of the rotation guy. He's got some experience, even though he's still a relatively young guy. He's got some experience. So, and he's somebody, and this has already been brought up in the chat for sure. If he has a really good season and seems to have a bounce back, and the Cardinals are not playing well this year, and the Cardinals are not in contention for anything, then you could trade him at the deadline and you can get something for him. That's not the healthiest place to be. That's the way the Pittsburgh Pirates have done business for a while. Sign a guy to a 1-year contract, and then if they have a nice season, you're able to spin them off at the trade deadline. And we've seen where it's gotten the Pirates, not very far, but there is something to be said for bringing more value back into the organization. So if he has a nice year, and again, the Cardinals are not competing at a high level, I could certainly see him getting traded at the deadline. Again, if you want to chime in on the program, you can do so. 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. That's how you call. That's how you text. Tweet at me, at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air. Or leave a comment in the video chat for those of you who are streaming the show online, and we can take a look at those as we go along. We are done early tonight. Again, Billikens basketball. They match up against Bethune-Cookman. SLU comes in tonight's game with a 9-1 record. Bethune-Cookman is just 3-7. Coverage at 6:45, 7 o'clock tip-off. Bob Ramsey, Earl Austin Jr. on the call. We will take a break right now, and when we return, Bernie Miklasz is going to join us. We got a few things to talk through with him. That's up next. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
3-2 delivery. On its way.
There, when he became a hometown hero.
Swing and a high drive to center field. Get up, baby. Get up, baby. Get up. Oh, yeah. David Freese has just sent us into game number 7. This series is tied 3-3 with a walk-off home run here in the bottom of the 11th inning.
This team deserves this, and this organization is top-notch, and these fans are unbelievable, and they are the best fans in baseball. This is definitely a dream come true.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX. The voice of St. Louis. Brought to you by the Polar Express at St. Louis Union Station. Get your tickets now at stlpolarexpressride.com.
It's not too late. The Polar Express is here through December 30th. Begin your journey at St. Louis Union Station Train Park, where you will meet the conductor inviting you to board the Polar Express train ride. Meet Santa Claus and his elves, interact with the Polar Express characters, and see St. Louis from 200 feet up and feel the magic of the Christmas story everybody loves. The Polar Express at Union Station. Book your trip at stlpolarexpressride.com. All aboard the Polar Express.
What's up, Missouri? Tony Gonzalez here. Your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook is live in Missouri. You can get in on all the action with fast withdrawals, a safe and secure app, and betting that's easy to use anywhere you go. And the best part, DraftKings keeps the excitement going with awesome promos and offers all season long. That's why it's America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't wait. New customers sign up today. Bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Let's go, Missouri. Get in the game.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KMOX. New Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code KMOX. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
You know Gray Bar for electrical parts, but there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better. Because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
Okay, I don't want to be mean, but if you're a guy and you just have a grimy, multiple times refilled bottle of Dial that's got the crusty soap on the outside, that's a red flag.
What if you just have a bar of Dial soap with no soap dish?
I never like the bar of soap.
What if you have one bar of soap and you take it from the shower to the sink, back to the shower? How would you feel good about going to that guy's house?
Oh my gosh, I think I would just leave without saying anything.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores, weekdays at 9 on KMOX.
Hello, I'm John Rooney. Congratulations to KMOX on 100 years strong, truly making KMOX the voice of St. Louis.
It's Gray Bar Sports Open Line here on KMOX. Done early tonight as we've got Billikens basketball. They match up against Bethune-Cookman. Coverage with Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr. begins at 6:45. It is Wednesday. It's around 6:20, and that means we bring in one of our favorite people to be able to talk with. Of course, you hear him all over KMOX. Sports on a Sunday, Gas House Gang, Rush Hour Sports. You see him and you read him over at STL Sports Central, where he's putting together 5 columns and 5 videos per week. By the way, you look at the major. I'll ask him. Hey, Bernie Miklasz joins us. Bernie, how are you?
I'm doing good, my friend. Happy holidays to everybody.
Same to you. When you were working at the Post-Dispatch, how many columns were you expected to produce on a weekly basis?
Well, I signed up the understanding it would be 4, but for the longest time, I would do 5, and there were times where I would actually do 6 or 7, depending on what was going on in the local sports scene. So, yeah, I developed a reputation for being kind of a workhorse, which is another way of saying crazy. So yeah, I plead guilty to being crazy. I love to write.
Yeah, you produce a lot of content, which is really good. I watch most of your videos. I had a busy day today. I have not yet been able to catch your video from today. I saw the title of it where it's based around attendance. Henry sends in a message, Bernie, that says, "Your video today made my blood boil, fuming red hot every second, made me think I want to let him have it like an angry manager. 2 million or more fans will come out for 2026. Bernie, what in the world did you say today to make Henry so upset?
I don't know. I mean, first of all, the premise is, what is it going to take for the Cardinals to get back their fans? But I thought the first thing I needed to do was to just sort of, go with some recent history, like the 10-year period that basically alienated fans over a 10-year period where the Cardinals, had 4 postseason wins, only 1 at home. After the first 19 years of Bill DeWitt's ownership, the Cardinals won 43 postseason games at home. And then the next 10 years, they won 1. And so I was saying it's a gradual thing. It just kind of drained a lot of fan enthusiasm. And, there's a lot of frustrated, disillusioned Cardinals fans. So that was part one, which I think was accurate because I use facts. And it's just a tremendous change for the first 19, 20 years of Bill DeWitt's ownership compared to the last 10. Huge change, which led to the problems. Then part two was like, well, how do you get people back? And, maybe some people might have been ticked off because I kind of clap back against people that think everything's about the payroll when there's a lot more to it than just payroll. And I pointed out in the 10 years, 2016 through 2025, where the Cardinals won 4 postseason games and only 1 at home, I pointed out don't whine about payroll, because over those 10 years, they were in the top 10 5 times, they were 11 another time, and they were above average of the major league average in the rankings in 8 of the 10 years. So it obviously wasn't about payroll, but that's the thing that people always go to. They think it's always about the payroll, some people. So I pointed out, no, the reasons why they need to rebuild is because they let everything fall apart, and that includes their player development. And that's why Chaim Bloom was brought in, because he had to rebuild 2 areas, their minor leagues and player development system, which had just crashed. And he also has to rebuild the major league roster. So I'm not sure what Henry was mad at, but, I made the point, I'm not sure why people don't understand why they needed to rebuild. When you let your minor league system fall apart and you fall behind everybody, and that leads to your major league club being mediocre and no longer a factor in the postseason. Yeah, I think you got to rebuild. I don't think that makes me a lunatic to say that.
Bernie, I'm not trying to be a pessimist here, but I question if they play pretty good baseball this year, if they're exciting, if some young guys step forward, will attendance go up a little bit? Yes, but I also understand the business of baseball, and I know that groups, the Kiwanis Club in Centralia, Illinois, that used to do an annual visit, once a year and bring all their buddies out. If they made the decision that Cardinals baseball just isn't exciting and our membership isn't as enthralled in this, and they canceled their trip for this year, well, you're probably not making that back up in 2026. You probably got to wait till 2027. So, the off-season ticket sales in a time where there's not as much excitement, I think it's really hard to recover from that almost no matter how good of baseball you play.
The other thing I said in the video along those lines is the only reason I'm bringing it up. The Cardinals had about 2.25 million, something like that, last year. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they go under 2 million, where maybe, it's 1.8, 1.9 million, 1.7 million. And if it happens, not saying it will, I won't be surprised. If it happens, it would be the first time that they would be under 2 million in a season at home, in a full season or an uninterrupted season since 1980. That's 45 years.
Yeah.
That would be but the Cardinals put themselves in this spot. I mean, they only have themselves to blame, because when when you let your pride and joy, which is your player development system, fall apart, which creates a crisis at the major league level, well, whose fault is that? It's not the media's fault. It's not the fans' fault. It's not the players on the field's fault. It's not the manager's fault, despite the fact that he gets blamed for everything. No, this was at the top of the chain. The ownership and management, John Mozeliak specifically. They let this thing unravel, which led to the situation, the very strange situation they're in. And they can only blame themselves, which they did, but later than I would have liked. Because when they decided, okay, that's it, Mo's going to leave and on his own, but we're going to bring in Heimblum and we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we got to rebuild everything. That's good. I applaud them for doing that. I just wish they would have done it sooner rather than waiting too long.
Let's the Dustin May signing became official today. I had speculated with you that maybe they're trying to slow play this thing to see if they could get one of these trades underway so they wouldn't have to lose somebody from the 40-man roster. They do. They lose Matt Koperniak. Koperniak 2 years ago had a really good year at AAA. We were excited to see what he would do in big league spring training this past year. It left a little bit to be desired, and then he didn't have a very good AAA season. You hate to lose players, Bernie, but at the same time, you want this organization to get to a point where a Matt Koperniak, with all due respect to him, is a 28-year-old who has not yet gone to the big leagues, that's not the type of guy that you've got on the 40-man roster, that there's an overall talent infusion that allows you to have more depth on the 40-man.
No, that's exactly right. And they have too many of those, because I would maintain that they still have a couple, three, too many. But, you bring up Matt Koperniak, and I kind of laughed to myself. You didn't hear me, but I was smiling. Because I was one of the people, we as a fan base, but also even media people, it got to the point so bad in their player development system, so bad that we were getting jacked up about a guy like Matt Koperniak. And I remember I was too. I'm not making fun of anybody else. They ought to make fun of me, because I was one of the people that would, I never made a federal case out of it, but it's like, I can't believe they won't give this guy a chance, blah, 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 blah. I was like really upset that he didn't get a shot. Well, if you think about it, no offense to him, seriously, that's kind of sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're blowing your stack about Matt Koperniak, I mean, seriously, doesn't that tell you all you need to know about how much they let this thing deteriorate in terms of player development?
100%. Again, a guy in his late 20s who has no power and just happened to hit for average a couple years ago. And again, I'm not trying to kick the guy on the way out. He's a good player. Right. And you'd like, perfect world, you would have made another deal and he'd still be on the 40-man and he'd still be in the organization. And maybe he sticks around in the organization. There's no guarantee that he's going to be walking out the door. We'll see if somebody else ends up picking him up. But I do think it's worth taking a step back and making the point that it is okay to desire more depth on the 40-man.
And more quality, right? And that's the whole point of rebuilding the farm system and the player development system. And there's already really good signs of progress. I mean, you look at the Cardinals' top 10 prospects, for example, at Baseball America, and they don't fool around. They also don't lather prospects up with false praise. They're really excited about what the Cardinals have coming, and that was part of the video too. The only way you're going to get fans back is you have to put a more entertaining product on the field. And the Cardinals have some guys on the come who are not only really, really talented, but they do have charisma. They will provide entertainment value. I think they're going to be exciting. It may take them a little while to adjust to the major leagues, but I think the entertainment value will go up once this new generation of Cardinals start moving into Busch Stadium, because I like the collective personality of that group. But we talked about this the other day on the Gas House Gang. The fans aren't going to, I think reasonable fans will start to come back when they see signs of actual evidence that the rebuild's starting to work. In other words, it doesn't mean they're waiting until the Cardinals win 90 games. They're like, well, I like this kid. I like that pitcher. I like this guy. Oh my gosh, I'm excited they're bringing Radiel Rodriguez up. Boy, there's some things to look forward to. Okay, let's go to the ball game. I mean, it'll be something like that. And then the strength in numbers will increase when they start winning again, and then it'll go to the next level when they are truly a contender again. And at first, even if it just means making the playoffs after a long absence. So I think it'll be a gradual thing, but it can be done. And it's a shame they have to dig out of such a big hole, but at least they hired the right guy to get him out of that hole in Chaim Bloom. Oh, that's right. We're not, toward some fans, we're not supposed to ever say anything good about him. He's a failure already. So I'm sorry. Please excuse me. My name is Fred Berg.
Well, we're gonna let you go on that one. We just can't allow that kind of talk here, Bernie. But before we let you go, can you share a little bit about?
They need to fire him. This Dustin Masoni, Matt. I'm going to write a they need to fire him. He's got to go anyway.
We'll be waiting for that one. We'll be waiting a while,
yeah,
but we'll be waiting for that one.
Yeah, right.
Before you get out of here, can you share with us a little bit about Saliga?
Absolutely. You know, the Miklas family's been calling on Saliga for many years, about 18, I think. And I don't even remember what it was like before we called Saliga. I know this, when we have a problem, it provides a lot of comfort knowing that Saliga is on the way to fix or otherwise adjust or diagnose a problem with our heating. It makes us feel, okay, that's all right. Saliga's coming. They'll take care of it. And that peace of mind's an important thing in this day and age, man. You want to be able to rely on people and something so important. And Saliga, you can rely on them. You know, we give them the highest marks for their honesty, their knowledge, and their class. The way they treat you when they come into your home, you don't have to worry about at all Saliga trying to fast talk you, twist your arm, try to talk you into something you don't need. And if a repair is needed, Saliga will patiently explain all the options to you, and you can answer all the questions you want. And then you'll have a great idea of exactly what should be done, and you will trust Saliga's word on it. And that's why they're still going strong, nearly 100 years of owning this business, this family, because they believe every time they come to our house or any other home in St. Louis that they have to earn your trust. And by earning your trust, they'll earn your business and keep your business. And that's what it's all about. You want people you can are going to do a great job. That's Saliga Heating, Cooling, and Daikin Comfort Dealer. Take a look at the Priority Club, which is a maintenance program that'll save you money. Find out more. Call Saliga at 304-481-7333 or visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Thank you.
The Bernie Miklas Report on KMOX is sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin Comfort Dealer.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
At Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, every moment with our patients is a gift. Thanks to supporters like you, children have hope as they fight serious illness and reach incredible milestones. Please donate today at treeofhope.org.
Thank you, St. Louis, for making Genesis of St. Charles the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2025. We know your time is valuable. That's why every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis service valet. Unlock your e-price and save. That means complimentary vehicle pickup and delivery, plus a loaner vehicle at no additional cost. Or want something new? We'll bring the test drive to you. Visit GenesisofStCharles.com during the Genesis Signature Event. Based on GMA sales records for 2024. See dealer for details.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
Computing speeds are accelerating at a breakneck pace. Google announced that its new algorithm called Quantum Echoes is 13,000 times faster than the current benchmark for supercomputer code, crucial for training AI. Google says it's the equivalent of sonar technology, showing the blurry image of a shipwreck at the bottom of the ocean and now being able to read the nameplate on the ship's hull. I'm Jason Brooks.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-941-2255. That's 800-941-2255.
Get ready for Thursday night football as the Rams face the Seahawks.
Siteman Cancer Center game time 6:30. Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer.
The Rams, the Seahawks. Thursday night football on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Just a few minutes left on this edition of a Gray Bar Sports Open Line. We are done early tonight as a result of Billikens basketball. They'll match up against Bethune-Cookman Our coverage begins in less than 10 minutes. Bob Ramsey, Earl Austin Jr. will be on the call. Just some programming notes of what it's going to look like for the rest of the week tomorrow night. As you just heard on the promo, we have Thursday Night Football with the Rams and the Seahawks. That means we're going to have just a half-hour show tomorrow leading into coverage of Thursday Night Football. But Matt, it's Thursday tomorrow, and that's the night where we normally hear Countdown to Opening Day. What are you going to do? Well, don't worry, you still get your Countdown to Opening Day fix. You will get that on Friday this week, so I encourage you to be tuned in. I recorded an interview today, by the way. We were over at Cardinal Nation, and talked with Jacob Buffa. He just recently was hired as the Senior Director of International Scouting for the Cardinals. He came over from the Houston Astros organization, and we got the chance to chat today and get to know each other, and you're going to hear that conversation during Countdown to Opening Day, and that's going to be coming up on Friday night. Also, today that we officially got the introduction of new City SC coach Johan DeMay, and he becomes the third full-time coach, the fifth total coach running City SC. He met with the media. Just wanted to play a couple things from him before we do call it today. First off, he talked about his journey of getting to this point and just about the passion that he has for coaching this game of soccer. That is new City SC coach Johan DeMay, who would go on to talk about some of the traits that he wants to see from the teams that he coaches. That is Johan DeMay. He is the new head coach of City SC, and he's got a challenge in front of him based off the way that this team has played here over recent seasons, but also a blueprint of what you have to do to be successful, because we saw the team do that in the first year under Bradley Cardinal, and it very much seems like a very fresh start for this organization with a new sporting director and also a new head coach moving forward. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of a Gray Bar Sports Open Line. As always, I appreciate everybody being tuned in with us. Again, don't go anywhere, as we are going to have St. Louis Billikens basketball coming your way in just a moment or so. If you're looking for something to do this evening, go on over to Chaffetz Arena. They match up against Bethune-Cookman. Our coverage begins in just a few minutes right here on KMOX.
Hey, Missouri, if you haven't heard by now,